So, couple rants incoming. One about the tournament that I just came from, and the other about some recent Pokemon news, kind of ish. So, alright, starting with the tournament, and this one I'm probably gonna have to share because I have some concerns regarding the the deal with how Gameheads United, it's like a local Facebook group that has been doing a lot of events, just gaming events, and there's the tournament, the environment of the tournament. It was all fun and whatnot, but there are things that I think should be put into consideration for future events. You know what? I can't Minecraft and talk at the same time. Oddly enough, I'm terribly inefficient. So, here's the deal. I'll give you like something to look at. I'm gonna go to this balcony or some shit. Okay, so, this is the second tournament that I've taken part of, that was hosted by Gameheads United. I'm not gonna throw out names because I don't know who's in charge of what and who comes up with, like, you know, the specifics of the event, but the head of the page itself is BJ Smith. So, I'm only addressing him because I'm the only, like, he's the only one that I know for sure is like the head honcho of everything. But when it comes to who organizes the stuff and who makes like all the decisions on how everything operates, I don't know who that person is. It may be the guy, maybe the other guy who was kind of like co-TOing. I don't know his name. I don't know who that guy is. But I want to preface what I'm about to say that, like, I'm not coming at this like because that I'm salty that I lost. I did lose the tournament, but there are things that I think should be addressed when it comes to how tournaments should be organized in general. And this may be like, you know, competitive elitist scumbag viewpoint, but that's kind of just it. It comes with the territory when you're hosting a tournament. Now, I feel like, well, I don't feel it, they kind of outright said it, that the intention of the event itself was just to have like a small, casual gathering of people who are a part of the page, a part of the community, come together, play some Smash Bros, win some prizes, take part in a raffle, get some Dirty Bird chicken, and just have a good time. That's great and all. The problem comes with the rules of the tournament and the intentionality of those rules and why they exist. I've talked before about how casual players and competitive players should be separate. Like, I think if there's any segregation that should ever happen in anything, it should be that. Because trying to mix the two only comes out in catastrophe in some way, shape, or form. And it only builds frustration when you try to force two separate communities to interact with each other. That's why I heavily disagree with the design of the online system for Smash Ultimate, because in Smash 4, I believe they had it right. I believe they pretty much had it near perfect, where they had the for glory and the for fun, where you have people who just want to just press buttons and smack people around and use items and have all the fun they want online with other people. They could just go to for fun. If they want what the closest thing they can possibly get to practice without having to like find people locally, you go to For Glory. And it was perfect as it was. It was perfect. Maybe not the online itself, especially on the 3DS. Like, you know, could have been tweaked a little to be like less laggy and stuff, and that code could have been improved. But the concept of having a segregation of the two types of players that, you know, make up the entirety of the people who play Smash, it was a good idea because you don't have people unwillingly doing things that they don't want to do. The way Smash Ultimate's online system works right now, and it's been a lot better for it, but it still kind of does it on occasion. I will run into matches where my opponent, the game will choose my opponent's preferred settings, and they will have like final smashes on, some items on, like spirits on and shit like that. Like, I don't want that. I don't want to deal with it. And the thing that sucks is that you won't know that your opponent has these settings on until the match begins, and if you quit this match because you don't want to play it, you get penalized because it's equivalent to rage quitting. So that hurts everybody. That like the whole letting people just kind of make rules up and then forcing them to play by each other's rules, like that's messed up. I think the online system for Smash Ultimate, when it comes to preferred rules, should be way more strict than it is right now. Is that a gold zombie? I might kill that guy. I'll wait. He'll burn up in the morning. Anyway, so this is kind of the issue we face when it comes to people who choose to host their own tournaments, either at home or in a local setting where you want to gather people together to play Smash. I understand the desire to bring people together and play games and stuff. If that's the case, then I would recommend just simply having like a gathering event. Whatever you do, don't make it a tournament. Because here's the details of the tournament that I participated in. The rules were 3 stock. Ah shit, it's a skeleton. Hold on, let me go inside, because I get shot. Yeah. Alright, the rules of the tournament were 3 stock, 3 minutes, no items, no smash wall, competitive stages. They had all the competitive stages all set up and stuff. I think they were all either Omega everything or Battlefield everything, which is fine. Quote unquote, no stalling. I don't know how the hell you could stall for 3 minutes, but whatever. And not the biggest thing, but because of the nature of the tournament, since timeouts would be frequent, they chose to include the results of sudden death. So sudden death included. Yeah, 3 stock, 3 minutes. You see the problem already. So here's the thing. The reasoning behind having these rules, besides what they told us, were kind of obvious. They didn't want the tournament to drag on forever, so they wanted to make sure that everybody, you know, got through their matches quickly so it wouldn't be there all fucking day. Like the event, I figured that there were, oh yeah, single elimination. That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing was single elimination. So 3 stocks, 3 minutes, single elimination, no items, no smash balls, no final smashes at all, competitive stages, all that stuff. Single elimination. And there were people at the venue, and mind you, all of the people, with the exception of me and Xander. I don't know if you know who Xander is, if you like keep up with competitive Smash Bros. Xander is one of our best players that we have here in Buffalo. Um, I'm not sure where he ranks, but he ranks pretty fucking high in Smash 4. And no, he's not an announcer. Not well, Xander Mobius. Xander Mobius is the announcer for Smash Bros. But there is a Smash player by the name of Xander. I don't know. I forget what his tag was. I'll find it. But Xander is one of the highest ranking Smash players that we have here in Buffalo, and none of the other people who was a part of this group play Smash competitively. None of them. It's a bunch of casuals getting together playing in a Smash tournament. Not only that, the prize for first place is about $450. Like, it started as like $250 and then it rose up to $450 due to sponsors and whatnot. And they had like a bunch of raffles on the side and all that shit. But like all these elements together make a pretty jank environment for the players involved for several reasons. First and foremost, while I appreciate that the entry was free, that was a plus. Let's talk about the pluses. The entry was free. The entry is free. I wouldn't have mind paying for an entry, considering that there were prizes involved. I appreciate that the entry is free, and that was a good thing, but I wouldn't have mind paying an entry fee. So free entry, as great as it was, is kind of offset by the other cons. They had food truck. They had drinks. This is in a sports bar, so they had like, you know, food and drinks offhand. Eventually, they brought in free tacos. That was pretty cool. They had the raffle. That was nice. And like, the environment was chill. Everybody was like super friendly, super casual, super cool, and like it was a nice hangout session. Like, the best thing about it was that, like, just for like a casual gathering, it was great. But for a Smash tournament, very questionable things. And I'm slowing down to try to break down why a lot of the stuff I'm saying is a big deal. And I guess I'm gonna have to start from the top. Okay, so first of all, you cannot have a tournament intended for casual players. It is impossible. It is something that I've been saying for years. It's something that Maximilian said, like, not recently, which I hope he's making into a real talk video. If not, I'll just reiterate what he said before. You cannot cater a competitive environment to casual players. You can't do it. It's impossible. When you try to, you will only hurt and frustrate everyone involved. And here's what happened. So Xander, like I said, is one of the best Smash players there. I showed up about an hour early, and when I got there, I saw that pretty much everybody was there. They were just playing casually. They didn't take the game too seriously. Obviously, you can pretty much see people's skill level just by watching them play. And the tournament looked pretty fucking free from my perspective. Pretty free. Then Xander walked in, and at that very moment, I knew he like, the second he walked in, I knew he won. Like, it was over. The second he walked in, then I knew it. I felt it in my bones. It was obvious. Like, he travels the damn country playing Smash. He's like a legitimate professional player, and the most that I've ever accomplished was winning a bunch of locals where, like usually, alright, if there are locals and there's no one from, like, the Buffalo Smash Bros. Competitive scene showing up to that tournament, I will likely win that tournament. Not trying how the results have been. Like, whenever, like, there's a small group of guys who are super competitive Smash Bros. Players, and they travel the world, they travel the country to play Smash Bros. Professionally, esports style. And I don't have the resources to do that. So the most I can do is participate in whatever local tournaments that happen here. If I participate in any of those tournaments, and those guys are off somewhere else, probably like Rochester or somewhere else taking part in another tournament, I'm probably going to take that tournament. Mostly because our competitive community, our fighting game community in general, is extremely tiny. I know pretty much everybody who's good at nearly every game that is any competitive game that's playable at the moment in person that are in Buffalo right now. I know all of them. So when I see any of them, if any of them show up, they're going to take the tournament. Like, it's the same for them. Like, if they show up to any tournament that they show up in, they're going to take it. Just the same as I would show up. I'm essentially the gatekeeper. Like, I've self-assigned myself the gatekeeper, the Buffalo gatekeeper of Smash players. If you want to be competitive at the game, you have to beat me, which is doable. I'm not that good, like, but you know, a lot of people just don't play the game competitively, so it's very unlikely. So Xander was obviously going to take this tournament, and here's the problem. These are a bunch of casual players, and the intention is for them to have fun. And one of the TOs actually said to me that they want to make a casual environment where nobody got mad, nobody got frustrated. And this was after I asked them about the rulings for timeouts, because these are only 3-minute matches with 3 stocks. So timeouts are going to happen all the time. Lo and behold, nearly every match was a timeout happened. And a match went to sudden death, and a lot of matches were decided by sudden death. So I asked them beforehand, so what's the ruling on timeouts? Are we counting sudden death or not? And they're like, yes, we're counting sudden death. And he said to me that he wanted to create a casual environment because it's a smaller tournament, and like, he knows that the usual tournament rules have the time for a lot higher, like 7 to 8 minutes. But like, this is a small tournament, they want to get the matches through quickly, and sudden death, like, it's whatever. They'll just play it out. And I didn't press him on the subject. I was like, okay, sure, whatever, because I'd already accepted that I'm not winning this tournament anyway. So it's like, okay, it's fine. The prize pool wasn't really a pool. It was kind of just like first place gets all the money, and then second and third get like different prizes and whatnot. And I was only there for the money. So as soon as Xander came in, I kind of already accepted. Was like, well, I'm not winning that money. At least I could probably aim for second. The problem is, I ended up playing Xander in the second round, and I lost. Duh. And then Xander went on to win the tournament, obviously. So yeah, Xander won. He got his $400, and although I didn't care about losing, to Xander. Here's the thing: I didn't care about losing to Xander. I accepted that. I knew it was going to happen before it happened. But here's the thing. Here's what upsets me. Because the tournament is single elimination. The problem with single elimination, there's 2 problems with single eliminations. One, everybody only gets a single chance to play, and that sucks. That sucks in general. Whether you're competitive, whether you're casual or not, that's not fun. Only getting one chance to play the game, and then when you lose, you're eliminated, and you just don't get to play for the rest of the day. That's shitty. That's why like, no one does single elimination tournaments. The whole idea of single elimination tournaments should die. If you do not have the time to host a single elimination tournament, don't do the tournament at all. Just don't do it, because you're wasting people's time at that point. Nobody wants to play the single elimination. Nobody wants to, Because if you don't want to if you don't want people to be upset, then why would you limit their playtime? Like, why would you limit how much they get to play the game? That's shitty. That really sucks. And it can't be a time constraint because the event... Hold on, let me pull up the event page. It should still be up. The event was scheduled from around 11:30 in the morning to about 7 o'clock. By the time I left, the tournament was over, and it was only like 5:30. So I don't know if there was time for a whole nother losers bracket. There might have been time for another losers bracket. Especially since each match was a maximum of 10 minutes. Since it's 3 stocks, it's 3 matches. The 3 matches maximum, that's 9 minutes per match. They could have squeezed in a losers bracket. At least with the losers bracket, everybody would get at least 2 chances to play the game. Like, that's optimal for everybody. The second reason why single elimination sucks, and this is really hard to see because you can only see the problem in hindsight. It seems fine as it's happening, but once you look back at the results, things kind of don't make sense. Here's the thing. I lost to Xander in the second round, right? Wouldn't have mattered if I lost to Xander in the first round. If I lost to Xander at any point during the tournament, it would have mattered. Besides the grand finals. The reason why this is a big deal is because if Xander didn't show up, I definitely would have won that tournament. If Xander was placed on the opposite side of the bracket to me, I definitely 100% would have at least made second place. I would have definitely made second place because I can't beat Xander, but I definitely would have made second place. But that won't ever be shown in the results because since I lost to Xander in the beginning of the tournament, I don't have the opportunity to even make second or third place. So when you have and here's the thing about having prizes for your tournament. When you have a prize for your tournament, especially monetary prizes for your tournament, you're going to attract people who are good at the game, who play the game professionally, that literally do this as their job. So there will 100% of the time be at least one guy who will sweep the tournament, especially if the tournament is made up of people who just play the game casually. So someone was going to do it. If it wasn't going to be Xander, it was going to be me. If it wasn't going to be me, there was at least 2 other people who at least showed enough competency to be like, okay, if me or Xander weren't here, then this guy would have definitely took the tournament. And then before that, there was another guy, or there's always another guy that would have definitely swept the tournament free. Everyone else, scrubs, all of them. Like, I'm not gonna be nice about it right now. Scrubs. None of them know what they're doing. And that's kind of just the nature of the tournament. The whole idea is to find out who's the best and who's going to win the first prize. But, like, that won't ever be shown in the results in a single elimination tournament because, essentially, what single elimination does is that everybody who loses to the person who wins the tournament all simultaneously technically gets second place because otherwise, they don't really have any chance to prove their placing amongst everyone else. Essentially, your placing is decided by how far away you were seated in the bracket from Xander before you lost to him. So because I had to play him in the second round, I don't get second place, but the guy who loses to Xander at the end of the bracket gets second place. But he didn't have to fight Xander till that round. He had to fight a bunch of other scrubs to get to Xander. And that's not, like... That's kind of just stupid. That's stupid and unfair. I believe Corey Gaiman made a video about how fighting game brackets work and why they work the way they do. And I believe in the beginning of his video, he was talking about in a single elimination tournament, if you have a professional player in a single elimination tournament and you got like random John who's like this scrub who because like everyone else besides this pro player don't know what they're doing, eventually random John is going to make his way to grand finals and lose against the guy who pretty much beat everybody else before him. Now the only reason why this random Joe guy made it to second place in the first place is because he had to fight everybody except for the best player in the room. But because, you know, everybody else had to play the best player in the room first, they got eliminated earlier. So that doesn't really show the difference of skill between players, because the guy who got second place could have easily lost just as easily to the guy who won the tournament as everyone else who lost to him. But because he just didn't pair up with him in the tournament, somehow he gets placed higher than them, so now he has the crown of second best player of the room when he went through the same gauntlet as everyone else. Just, you know, that's the nature of brackets. So with a single elimination tournament, at the very least, what a single elimination tournament does, or what a double elimination tournament does, is that when you have the winner's bracket, you have the same type of system going on, where one player is going to make his way all the way to the top, and then once that happens, for the loser's bracket, it's like, okay, so here's your chance to truly prove your placing amongst all the other players, because you only got to play one time, so that doesn't really say anything about your skill level compared to everyone else you've played. So you're going to be playing again. You're going to be playing against other people who have also lost, and we're going to see how good you are next to those people. And then, if you make it to the top of them, you get to play the winner in a whole new set to see if whether or not the winner, who's currently in winner's bracket right now, is truly the best player, or whether or not that single win that he got against you is a fluke. You'd have to prove it in a two-set match. And it's perfectly doable. It's been done. It's harder, duh. That's why, like, it really sucks to be stuck in loser's bracket. Not only do you have to play more matches than you normally would if you just won all the way through, but you also it doesn't happen all the time, but 9 times out of 10, if you lose to the person if you lose to the person who makes it to winners finals during the tournament, you're most likely going to have to play them again in grand finals anyway. So if you manage to do it, if you manage to make it all the way up to grand finals and win the tournament that way, then despite losing to that player before, you still definitively prove that you're better than him by beating him twice. Or at least being able to adapt from the first match, learning your lesson, and then overcoming his adaptation of you. That's how you determine, like, who's the better player between who. And if you lose to the guy who made it to winners back in the first place, that means he truly did earn his place in first place at all. So it's like, cool. Now in this case, when it comes to Xander, because I know him, like, I knew from the beginning that he was going to win the tournament, but with single elimination, it robs anyone else of the chance to at least get second place. And because there are also prizes for second and third place, this is extra fucked up because, like, I didn't get prizes because I lost to the best person in the room. But the guy who made second place got a prize because he played other players around his skill level and beat them, and then lost to Xander for reasons beyond their control. So it's like, it's messed up. That's why single elimination doesn't work. It doesn't satisfy anyone. There's nothing satisfying about single elimination, and that applies to every fighting game. That applies to every fighting game in general. Now, when we're talking about Smash and the Smash specific rule set, 3 stocks, 3 minutes is god awful. Top 5. Gandhi, are you in my Twitch chat? Where you at? No? Weird. Okay. So yeah. So when we get to the Smash rule set, 3 stocks, 3 minutes. That's asking for trouble. Obviously, timeouts are going to be a problem. And there's not really much detail to go into it because that's not enough time. Obviously, like 3 stocks, you got a minute to kill something. Like you have a minute per death. There are 6 stocks total in a match, and 5 of them have to be lost for the match to end without time running out. Or like at most 5 of them, but at least 3. That's not enough. That's not enough time. And if they wanted the matches to go quickly, they might as well do 2 stocks, 3 minutes. Because at least like I mean, it's still bad, but it's better than 3 stocks, 3 minutes. Because if you lose 2 stocks, you have no way to come back. Like, it's over. Like, if you're trading stocks back and forth between you and your opponent, then it's basically just a matter of like who can hold on to their second stock for 1 minute with high damage. Because no stalling is also a rule that they had, but that doesn't make any sense because there's only 3 minutes in the match. So what constitutes? Like these are the contradictions that you make when you make these types of rule sets haphazardly. Like the reasoning for these rules were because they didn't want to upset casual players, but what exactly was it that they're trying to avoid? I don't get it. Because they're like, we don't want anybody getting mad, throwing controllers and whatnot. It's like, first of all, if they don't have the self-control to not get upset over a video game, they shouldn't be here in the first place. Second of all, if there are people like that here in this venue, we ought to scout them out and kick them out anyway. I was wondering what that was. It's like, what the hell is this gold thing just chilling in front of the door? Shouldn't you be burning to death, asshole? Yeah, 3 stocks, 3 minutes is terrible. That on top of single elimination, like that's so little playtime that like it's hardly worth going, despite being free. Like that's like I understand the push-pull of it. Like they don't want the tournament to go on forever. They want to make sure everything like goes quickly and smoothly. But if you're taking priority, like the sanctity of the event itself over the satisfaction of the people who's going to be there. And I think that should be the most important. And I feel like there's this weird stigma, I wouldn't call it weird, a semi-understandable stigma, but still nonsensical stigma about the competitive fighting game community and the Smash community and whatnot, I believe people think that we made these rules just to be elitist assholes. No. The reason why these rules exist is because we're trying to maximize the fun factor and the satisfaction of the people who participate in these events. It's not like, oh, we gotta do three stocks 7 minutes because Nintendo said so, and that's the law, and we gotta abide by this law that Nintendo made up. It's like, no. We, the community, made these rules, and these rules came about as a result of a balancing act of trying to make events run smoothly, while at the same time giving the people who are participating in them enough time to enjoy the game they're playing and, like, maybe improve it a little bit, like just playing the game. Because overall, a tournament, just the simple fact that the tournament is happening and it exists is competitive. You cannot make a casual tournament. It is impossible. Those are two polar opposite things. It's not doable. And trying to get that to happen, and this is a thing that game developers fail to understand. This is why I bitch about auto combos in Dragon Ball. And this is what Max was saying a couple days ago, or was it yesterday? I believe it was yesterday. He was saying this shit. When you try to make things, when you try to accommodate for casual players in a competitive anything, all you're doing is making it easy for people who are already good at the game to just come in and pluck free money from wherever the fuck they want. It was yesterday, yeah. Like, there's this weird obsession where fighting game developers want to close the skill gap between players. You can't do that. It is impossible. Because if you add mechanics of the game to make the game easier for casuals, you're only making it you're making it easier for everybody. Like the only way literally the only way you'd be able to do that is that, let's say you have Dragon Ball Fighters, right? You have those crazy auto combos that auto-correct and track you in every direction. But as soon as you hit like a certain ranking, or let's say that wouldn't even work. Like, like even if you hit a certain ranking, like imagine if you hit a certain win-lose ratio, a certain unspecified win-lose ratio, you won't even know. you wouldn't even know when it happens. But as soon as you hit that win-lose ratio, that auto combo is disabled completely. If you want to close the skill gap, that's how you would do it. But that would still be shitty. Because, like, what are you actually accomplishing at that point? Because what's going to happen is, you're going to give people who suck at the game this tool to be able to play with people who are good at the game. They can mash one button and basically do the same, about the same amount of damage as someone who's skilled at the game would do, generally. But they would also have to not have access to that option for it to truly be fair. Because as a person who's already skilled at the game, even though I don't need those auto combos, I could still use them and the broken effects that come with them. It's like if you challenge a professional assassin to a duel, and the guy organizing the whole thing is like, well, that guy's a professional, so we have to make this whole interaction fair. So to make it even, we're gonna give you both this super high caliber sniper rifle that only that only professionals know how to use. Like, what? Well, here's the thing. The shortcuts in Grand Blue don't do anything for you. There's literally no reason to ever use them. They're just infinite. Like, the moves are easier to do. Yeah, sure. But, like, ultimately, they hinder you more than they actually help. Like, they don't actually help you learn the game. This is weird. Sand is supposed to be affected by gravity. What the hell? Whatever. But that's the thing with fighting games. That is the thing with fighting games in general. It has nothing to do with a skill gap. There's no skill comes from investing time into the game and actually playing it, and actually be willing to learn how to play it. People are bad at fighting games because they just don't play fighting games. That's it. That's the beginning and end of it. If someone claims to be bad at a fighting game, it probably means that their primary source of enjoyment when it comes to video games is probably not fighting games. So these are people who don't really care. These are people who don't actually care about the games they're playing, who are complaining about their inability to beat people who do care about the game, and cry out to developers like, give me an easy way to beat these people. And then they oblige them. Like, stop it! Like, I had this conversation with the guys at the tournament. I told them the exact same thing. There's no such thing as talent. Some of them didn't agree, but I wholeheartedly believe that there is no such thing as talent. There is whether or not you want it, or whether or not you want it. If you want, that applies to literally everything in life. If you want to accomplish anything, you have to care about the thing that you're doing. It has nothing to do with reflexes. Reflexes are a part of it. And, like, alright, hold on. I wish I had somebody who doesn't... I need someone who isn't proficient in fighting games but wants to be in the chat, because I need to dispel some myths. But the thing is, know what the myths are on the competitive end. Like there are too many myths running around. No, not you, because you play enough Smash, you play enough fighting games, you actually do care to some extent. I need somebody who really, like, because oddly enough, when I'm looking for people to play locally that aren't in my fighting game community, most of my friends don't play fighting games at all, and they refuse to play me because they kind of automatically think I'll win all the time. I need someone like that. Like, I know you're not saying it's hopeless, but most people act like it is. And it isn't. The thing with casual players is that they don't care as much as they think they do. They fooled themselves to thinking that they care more about the game they're playing than they actually do. And they fooled game developers enough for them to make this effort to get those people to continue playing the game, despite the fact that they don't give a shit enough to actually learn how to play it. And personally, this all started with Street Fighter 4. This all started with Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 is the only game that I can think of where people outwardly complained that combos were too hard and they were losing because they were losing and they didn't want to play the game because they weren't good enough to do one frame links. And they believed wholeheartedly that because they couldn't do one frame links, they couldn't be good at Street Fighter, when that was the furthest from the truth. God damn it. Whoever shot me should be burning. What the fuck? Hit me again. Or is it one of those assholes with the crossbow? You! Why aren't you burning alive? Fucking asshole. Anyway. Yeah, no matter, I'm not going to beat Mango in Smash because no amount of training is going to surpass their amount. That's a whole other thing. You're not going to beat Armada, Mango, or Mewtwo King. But they're not the only people playing Smash. They're not the only people who you're going to run into in tournaments. There's a whole slew of people that are around your skill level that you can beat. And sometimes that's enough. I've been to plenty of tournaments where absolutely nobody of any notable skill had showed up, and I won those tournaments because of that. And that's enough. That's fine. Like, I'm not that good at the game. I'm not. I'm not even being humble. I'm saying that amongst the people, I know the people who are truly skilled at the game. I'm relatively competent. I know enough, and I have a general fighting game sense to carry me to do pretty well against most people in my local area. But if I went to an event of any sort, I'll likely get my ass handed to me. Very likely. It has happened. This is based off of actual results that have occurred. I'm not saying this because I think it will happen. I'm not saying this because I'm not confident in myself. I'm just saying, based off of my results and based off of the things that have occurred in my tournament experience, this is what usually happens. And it's also part of the fact that I don't really get any meaningful practice in the first place. So unless I really sit down and just like hunker down and actually like practice the games that I play, like true honest to God, like actual productive practice, I could get better. I just don't. Unwillingly. I should. I want to, but it's also a part of laziness. I'm too lazy to beat someone like Xander. That's it. That's the simple fact. I have no excuses beyond that. I lost to Xander out of pure laziness. If I practiced enough, maybe someday I could be on his level. Maybe someday I'll catch up. But as I am right now, because I don't practice as much as he does, I'm not going to beat him anytime soon. That doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, hey Nintendo, hey Sakurai, I have a problem with dealing with Wolf. He's too good, his out of shield nair is hard to deal with, please nerf him, please give me some universal mechanic that I can use to make this fight easier for me. That's the absolute wrong answer. And the worst answer is actually accommodating that stupidity. And that's how modern fighting games have been. Like, nearly like every modern fighting game right now has some kind of like easy mode mechanic for casual players that don't actually do anything for them. The short hop trick. Nobody. All right. Here's the funny thing about the short hop trick. They gave casual players a whole button combination, just 2 buttons, to do short hop aerials. And they're not even the good kind of short hop aerials, because the way it works is that the aerial will come out at the same time as you press the button, which means that you can only, if you're using this method, you can only get an aerial on the way up in your jump. You cannot do a short hop fast fall aerial. You can only do a rising short hop aerial, which for most characters isn't good. So first of all, the mechanic doesn't even really like do the thing it's supposed to do in the first place. And second, for the most part, even casual players, despite having this super easy shortcut, don't even use it, nor do they even know how to apply it. How would they know how to apply such a mechanic when they don't bother to know why, like, it's even useful in the first place, which it isn't. Like, not only is it not useful, but they don't even know how to use it. It's like multiple levels of dumb. It's not bad, it just does nothing. It does nothing for anybody. It's kind of just further evidence that, like, these players, the players that these mechanics are made for, don't care. They don't care enough to actually use it. Even if it was useful, they still wouldn't be using it. Because that would take actual time and dedication of practicing and seeing what your character does and seeing how their moves coincide with this mechanic. Like, it's not completely useless. Like, some characters can use it. Some boxes that don't really care about how far they are from the ground when they do the aerial, like, they can use that shit. But no player who would need such a mechanic is going to use it. They're not going to use it. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone online and watched a Shulk player or an Ike player or anybody who, or any character that could reasonably use the mechanic, literally full hop forward air me over and over again, back to back, non-stop, until it eventually hit me, or hit my shield, because obviously they don't know how to use any other option. That should be evidence. That should be evidence that the people who these mechanics are made for don't give a fuck. I know I ended up going on a completely different tangent than where I started, but yeah, it all connects really. You can't cater to casuals in a competitive setting. You can't.